Sup folks, Ray Pooperton III back with another COD Zombies video. Today I've got the ultimate guide to looting on Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. It will cover the best ways to find all the essential and high tier loot. This includes legendary tools, schematics, wonder weapons, large backpacks, 3 plates, and more. Before we get into the thick of it, let me give you the first tip: death perception. If you have the plans and the backpack space, bring it in. Making sure you have a 3 plate and a large backpack is one of the first things on most Modern Warfare zombie players' minds when they infill. There's many ways to go about this, some many may not know about. If you have the money, you can buy them. 3 plates are in tier 2 and tier 3 shops. Large backpacks can be found only in tier 3 shops. They are both 10k a piece though, so why not save the money and go find one? Most games I can find one within the first 5 minutes using these strategies. First one, lockers. You can find both plate carriers and backpacks in lockers. Actually, they're quite common. The key is finding lockers. The best area I've come across for lockers is Pop-Off Power. On the other side of the highway from the parking lot here are 2 buildings with a ton of lockers. And they are in Zone 1, so they are very approachable early game. If you don't find what you need here, head across the highway into Zone 2. These warehouses all have 2 lockers in them. They are also a common place for high tier large loot boxes. And there's quite a few of these warehouses in the area. On top of that, check this building for another couple rows of lockers. And in general, check fire stations around the map. They always have 2 lockers in the break room. Also, Merc Stronghold safes always have a 3 plate, but you'll have to work your way through a Merc camp, Stronghold, and then the reinforcement chopper that comes when you drill the safe. Alternatively, you can skip the camp and buy a key for 2k, but the camp has a 2 plate. If you have turret chips or are rocking a meta gun, killing abominations also has a great drop rate for these items. Many times one will drop both a 3 plate and a large backpack. With an ether blade, 2 plate or better, and at least 1 rev, Zone 3 is doable. Just takes practice and a gun built for mobility or fists. Or some decoys and smart tactics. There's a few spots where turrets and abominations spawn together commonly. Check these 3 spots for a turret and swing past in a vehicle and check for megas. If you get lucky, it could be the quickest 3 plate and backpack you ever got. You can also get these items in reward rifts, crystal boxes, high tier large loot boxes, ground caches, and standard loot boxes, especially in Zone 3. Last thing to mention, the fortress where the warlord is has a high chance of containing a large backpack. This is fairly tough to clear, but if you're doing it anyways, make sure to check the lockers and boxes around here for that. Especially you already got the 3 plate by way of a Merc Stronghold safe, as it contains the key for the fortress as well. Much of this guide to finding high tier loot is going to point back to this section, so I figured I'd put it in the guide ASAP. The main source for the good stuff is crystal boxes and large rare loot boxes. These are randomly littered throughout the map and get more common the higher the threat level. But there are some places that all but guarantee a lot of these coveted boxes. First up, infected strongholds. These are everywhere, but the loot seems much more underwhelming in Zone 1. Zone 2 strongholds are fairly easy, have a high chance for good loot, and can be cleared very quickly with an RGL. Death perception helps finding the cysts. Having a gas mask also helps, but you can do it without if you just watch your health and keep taking breaks from the gas to kill Zombs. If you don't have an RGL, head for an exit every time the spawn sounds. Drop the enemies that emerge from the spawn and rinse and repeat. Once you're done, grab the max ammo, hit the boxes, and Bob's your uncle. Just watch out for thieves coming in for a quick score. If they do, pull the old switcheroo and wait by the boxes until they finish it. Tip 2. Walk, don't drive. If your destination is less than 200 meters, just go on foot. In Tier 2 and Tier 3, these loot boxes are everywhere, and you can hear the big ones, so use headphones and follow your ears. The buildings that aren't infected strongholds this game, but can be, also have a high chance for the good boxes. Speaking of high chances for good boxes, there's a few places I always check when close by because they all but guaranteed have them. First one is the skyscraper with all the cranes. On the bottom and up top are usually a ton of these boxes, plus weapon lockers and many other standard loot boxes. Second is this building that you can fly to from atop the skyscraper. Bonus points because it seems not as many people know about this one, as I get there late game often and it's still unlooted. Thirdly, both town square looking buildings with the dome roof are hotspots. In and around the area is filled. Lastly, these specific areas feel more congested with loot boxes than anywhere else, probably just because there's a lot of buildings close together. Probably the rarest item in the game, legendary tools are a huge help to have as they quad the damage output. This is sometimes the only way to solo certain things, so the orange tools are a hot commodity for me. The drop rate is scary low, but you can find these in high tier loot boxes, see the previous chapter, reward rifts, and off of abominations and worms. These items are what I fill most of my stash with, and I find a lot of them in the dark ether. Schematics allow you to skip the looting. All schematics are found in either reward rifts or from missions. The new classified schematics from Season 1 are found in the Dark Ether contract reward rifts. Check out the guide on screen for help with that. The rest of Season 1 schematics all come from defeating the Red Worm. Once he dies, the rift that spawns by the portal out has those. Check out this guide for more info on that. Then we have the launch schematics. These are all obtained by specific tiered contract rifts. Check out and save this chart by Reddit user ZIQD to help grind these out. It's all RNG, so keep at it. You'll get them all eventually, just make sure you're in the right tier for what you need. The rest of the schematics out since launch are gotten by doing the Act 1 through 3 missions. Another one where I have to say, see the loot box section, commonly found there. You can also get them from reward rifts, in case form and not. Abominations and worms can also drop the cases. On top of these methods, you can check the locked loot rooms in the Dark Ether. More on that in the Dark Ether guide. They often contain one of the following wonder weapon cases: Raygun, Waff, and Scorcher. See loot box section again. Definitely seen them in those. Also another one that can drop from abominations, worms, and reward rifts. On top of these commonly known methods, they also randomly drop out of cysts and from broken crystals in the Dark Ether. At 5k a piece, these are another great thing to stock up looting. They are found in high tier loot boxes, reward rifts, and by breaking crystals in the Dark Ether. They can also be in standard loot boxes, although rare. These can be found basically in any loot boxes. Also duffels. They are also guaranteed in weapon lockers. Weapon lockers are scattered everywhere on the map, with nice clusters in certain areas. On top of that, these 3 police stations have a bunch in a line on the top floor. Check those out too. Lastly, like the backpacks, they can also be found in the ground caches. The best place to loot mods is nests. Much less cysts than the strongholds, they are really easy to clear and guarantee you some mods. You can also get these from high tier loot boxes and by killing bosses of all kinds. Another one found frequently in high tier loot boxes, as you may well know. I did want to mention 2 other lesser known loot spots: gas station shelves, as well as the guaranteed spawns in Orlov military base during the Act 1 story mission. You will have to exfil for these, but if you're tombstoning or just leveling guns, I thought I'd mention. Lastly, I wanted to quickly go over perks. These can be found in fridges, so check those. Plus, they are very common in reward rifts and high tier loot boxes. Bosses can drop them too, and sometimes they are just sitting out. Not to mention the free perk Easter eggs. But that about wraps this one up. I hope it helps out. Peace!